Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, we took a look at some of another one of the signals of our possibly being overstressed. We focused on when we eat on automatic pilot. And, if you recall that conversation, we focused a whole lot less on what we eat and a whole bunch more on how we go about eating. In fact, this distinction between how and what, I think, deserves a little bit more reflection. I'd like to do that with you today. Just 2 days ago, I had an online conversation with a dear friend of mine in Europe. Just as a quick aside, isn't it amazing that we can talk now to Europe or other places in the world without paying the exorbitant telephone fees that we used to have to pay for international phone calls? It wasn't that long ago, right? Pretty amazing. So I was talking with my friend Christoffer, and I shared with him my daily morning inventory, which, as you know, we've been discussing here recently, and how it is that I accompany that inventory. It's intertwined with my gratitude practice. We've been exploring that here together. Christoffer asked me, he said, Bob, do you ever worry about being hard on yourself, that is, in doing these daily inventories? And I answered him, honestly, Christoffer, sometimes I am hard on myself, but usually not anymore. You see, one of the vulnerabilities that I've had, and we've discussed it here previously too, I've had a vulnerability of setting overly high standards for myself, and then when I don't reach them, then I've tended to beat myself up for them. And so I told Christoffer, it wouldn't make much sense now, would it, if I'm working on being hard on myself, that is setting these, I call them unrelenting standards, and then when I don't reach my unrelenting standards, then being hard on myself for not having gotten over being hard on myself. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I have some of these patterns from childhood that don't respond well to my doing more of the same. And I think you can probably understand that. I would much prefer to take just kind of gentle notice of what's going on, and to look into alternatives that I might use, but something that's more gracious than being hard on myself. If I'm working on my tendency, which is to set high goals for myself, let me be careful about being caught in the contradiction of dealing with that by setting yet another high goal for myself. Well, I get to work on this every morning because, as you know, I review my past 24 hours around this and other behaviors, and for that matter, attitudes and patterns of thinking that I've had, that I'd like to release them. I call these addiction because they cause us suffering. They cause me suffering. And what I want to do is I want to take very gentle note of progress I've made on a given day, and also to gently notice and honestly mark when I've gotten off track. Then what I want to do is, with some clarity and with kindness, get myself back into the saddle of what it is I want to accomplish. What I'd like to do is apply all of this in the next few conversations we have here, and apply it to how we eat what we eat. And again, remember, we're looking at that the how oftentimes is more important than the what. I think the how of how we go about correcting ourselves when we get off track, I think the how may be important, be very important as well. And just for summary, the how is with kindness and with compassion. And so we'll be working on more of this the next few days. Hope you'll come back tomorrow and join me. Have a wonderful day.